following episode contains explicit content. You've been warned.
Maybe it's because we were all trying to start our own little royal
monarchy.
families. We were all
monarchy. That explains the incest.
I think
in
so.
the
I think
South.
somebody was tripping balls, and they're like, "Wait a second, I'm a king." Oh.
Everybody wants to be something they're not and have shit they ain't got. Don't be a dick. Don't be an asshole. Just be nice. You don't have to be that guy. Show some respect. Just be a person. Love one another.
I need some. We got coffee, man. Go get some coffee.
I'm gonna get some.
Oh. So, so the Queen of England dies. And, again, probability of her being a lizard person only reinforced
74%.
only reinforced by the fact that there was a giant green fireball the week after her death
Yes.
that nobody can explain. It wasn't space junk. It wasn't any of this other crap. It wasn't a satellite.
Mm.
It wasn't a meteor because it was too low to be a meteor. Thousands of people witnessed it,
And Joe Dirt was nowhere around.
and Joe Dirt was nowhere around. So it wasn't a giant frozen chunk of poopy.
That's just a big old frozen chunk of poopy.
See the peanut? It's a dead giveaway.
See those airplanes? They dropped there. Hell yeah.
Welcome to another random episode of Brain Snacks with Jaxon Max. We are in studio with the mighty Dustin Tray.
What's up?
And we wanted to talk a little bit about monarchies, the royals, the royal we want to talk about. Not I, we, the royal we.
Yeah, man. I love Lord. That song, Royals. Mm-hmm.
Dude. Royals.
Oh.
I used to play that. Chrissy and I did that song. So, yeah, monarchies totally didn't go away. There's one major surviving one, and that's the British Empire. Queen of England just recently passed. What are your thoughts on this, Dustin? I know you're not on camera, but
Yeah,
you were super, like, you're the reason that I wanted to do this one. So,
dude, all she did was get born. Like, she was just born,
Mhm.
and that's it. She was just born into a monarchy, born into a, and my take is like, who cares? Like,
why does it matter? What makes her so special?
yeah. And she
Well,
wasn't a
is
great
it-
person. She was a terrible person, actually. So, like, I don't understand
Elaborate. I don't even know.
I don't understand our, love for her. How much
Our infatuation.
yeah.
Infatuation. It's not just her, though. It's all the royals. Because I think, so Princess Diana, when she died, and again, it's still a big deal. And there's a conspiracy theory around that it was like MI6 that offed her because she was showing, she was disrespecting or putting a bad name to the monarchy. So that's why she had to go.
Yeah, it was like some
That's-
like race shit too, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't she,
And,
like,
well, it was
dating outside of the-
Dodi Fayed. She was dating, was he Saudi? I can't remember if he was Saudi or not. And again, it doesn't really matter. He was not white and he was not British.
Yeah.
So again, that's the conspiracy theory around that. But I think people were so obsessed with Princess Diana because she wasn't a traditional royal. Whereas, like, she would actually go out, like, she went to Africa and actually, like, visited with people, the locals, and did her best to raise money and awareness for starving children in Africa. Like, she actually was in the shit.
Yeah.
And whereas nobody else in the royal family has ever really done that. So I can understand
Especially
people
not
kind
Queen
of
Elizabeth.
Exactly.
Yeah, you said she was a terrible person. Like I honestly,
yeah,
I'm
just-
kind of like lame on it. I don't understand it. Like I don't know.
You think about like all the imperialism and shit America does.
Yeah.
You know, she alone did more like terrible shit than,
Well,
like
it's, I mean, basically though, it's
in the entire royal,
Mm.
like the British Empire. Like,
Yeah.
it's not something that we should be like, oh, you know,
She was such a great woman.
yeah.
Well, here's, and I'll make the same argument against her and that monarchy as I would like with the our American system of government. These rich, entitled assholes.
Yes.
And again, at least the American politicians have to have the appearance of getting elected.
Yeah.
Whether or not it is a legitimate, free and fair election. I mean, you can debate that all you want. Both the Democrats and the Republicans have argued blah blah blah. But sticking with the royal side of it, and the parallel is that they have so much money, and they literally have no real place in the government anymore. The royals don't,
And they don't really have like
that's
any-
what Parliament is for.
Yeah, they're kind of like honorary sit-in
Yes.
type, but they definitely get briefed on everything, and
I'm
they,
sure
They
they
do
know,
have
they know.
some power, and I'm actually looking that up now. They do have power, I think, to like veto certain things that would pass, and I think she was more lying conservative on a lot of issues that would have.
But
Let me look it up.
while you're looking that up, though, I want to bring this up. You're talking about billions of dollars that this family has, and they get a government stipend check just for being born into this family, which I might add that a lot of people don't want to really talk about or acknowledge, but that family has been line bred for years and years and years prior to, again, maybe the mid 1800s.
So like incest.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's like cousin versus, cousin marrying first cousin.
And you know the Southern accent is actually really close to an English accent.
Yes.
There's a very
Yes.
subtle difference.
There's a
But
very
that
subtle
real Southern accent, like somehow or another, it's very related. It's like Anglican.
difference. Yes.
So we've done a lot of cousin fucking here too. Maybe it's because we were all trying to start our own little royal
monarchy.
families. We're all
Our own monarchy. That explains the incest.
I think
in
so.
the
I think
South.
somebody was tripping balls and they're like, "Wait a second, I'm a king." Oh,
But to have an entire nation so about this monarchy and this is so devastated by the death of this queen, like
God save
the
queen.
amount of money that could be infused into the British populace if you just completely did away with it. You turned Buckingham Palace into a giant museum where that revenue stream is invested right back into, again, the community.
Yeah.
You could do a lot of good with all that money. Why do you need this figurehead? You don't need her for hope. I mean, especially the last 40 years, she really she wasn't a great orator. She wasn't a terrible orator, but she was by no means spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't no Winston Churchill, who was also didn't do most of his own speeches because he was hammered.
Yeah, didn't it? Wait, what was his like morning routine? He used to have like whiskey every morning.
Lots a tumbler of cognac and a cigar.
Yeah.
So what you
Yeah,
found?
so she does have power. She has the power to appoint.
Had.
Yeah, she had the power.
Unless she is a lizard person and didn't actually die.
Well, my point is like a royal that was born into it, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy that they would have the power to appoint and dismiss ministers, summon parliament, and give it she can vote and veto against like bills that are passing. She has the power to veto legislation, and that right has been exercised at least 39 times in the last 20 years. So I just find that insane that someone like a royal,
Yeah.
not someone that you voted into
Office. Yeah.
through democratic process or whatever, has the power to say, no, I don't like this.
I don't want it. Yeah.
That's insane. And I find it insane that, a lot of Americans have this like perspective that it's wow, like that's so cool. There's a monarch.
Well, it's you think
monarchy.
that's all about based on perceptions and we've been sold that idea that it's glamorous from birth. You think about every Disney show on the planet, there's usually some kind of monarchy involved.
Yeah.
And the Cinderella story, you know, this pauper becomes a princess. But again, you got Snow White, princess. There's a princess always in every story, and there's a Prince Charming, and they live happily ever after. And it's a beautiful story to think about.
Yeah.
And to envision, like, as a kid, it's like, maybe I could be, it's like when it's false hope, obviously, but that, I think that is one of the reasons why, primary reasons why American society and maybe other parts of the world, but we glamorize
Oh, for sure.
and glorify the monarchies.
And that's why it's so hollow, because that's really kind of what it is. It's like it's theater. It's like pomp and circumstance.
It's
Like and two, I had to bring this up because my mind went
bring it
there.
up, bring it up.
So, you know, the entire nation being swept away by the queen, not true. Like I feel like there's a lot of, like, at one time, maybe at one time, but you know, people play the game
Oh yeah.
in order to, like, make it through fucking Christmas or whatever. Like, let's don't talk about that or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
I had to bring up "God Save the Queen" by the Sex Pistols.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, God save the Queen, because tourists are money, and our figurehead is not what she seems. Oh, God save history.
Mm-hmm.
Poetic.
I love the punk rock scene that came out of London was all about bashing not just the monarchy, but I mean, the Sex Pistols went after the Queen pretty hard. That was always pretty funny.
And people went after, like, I mean, like,
But it's part of the
after she
Parliament
died
too.
I mean, like there were people in the streets, like, you know, like, oh my God, like mourning or whatever, public mourning. And there were people that were taken away because they were, you know, being disruptive or whatever.
But why is it that it's such a big deal? Why is it made out to be such a big deal? Is it because the medium builds it up, or is it because people legitimately cared?
I think it's tradition.
Is it just a human tradition?
No, I think like
Or is it a cultural tradition?
Well, yeah, but, like, I mean, at a time, like, it was like, in our understanding of, like, power and everything, like, just the fact they were born in it, that was enough. And like, they really did rule shit. You know, they ran shit.
Yeah.
And so, like, people just, you know, it's almost like, who is willing to challenge that? And that's what I meant by playing the game.
Yeah.
Because at one time you had to play the game where you're going to lose your fucking head or whatever.
Off
So-
with his head.
I mean, I just think it's, like, in the air that we just don't really, like, and they've neutered it quite a bit, but it's definitely been, like, candy coated
Oh yeah.
to a point to where I think people are like, oh, it's just benign. And I think it probably is, but I don't know. I mean, who cares? That's what I say. It's like, I mean,
Well, that's
like-
but what inspires people to care so much about this, again, essentially figurehead position that has maybe a tiny bit of power? But why? Because she doesn't represent the populace the same way that, again, I'll say it all day, 7 days a week. You know, Donald Trump is not a representation of, you know, middle-class America.
yeah.
You were not the working class. You know, he has nothing in common with us. So the Queen had nothing in common with the common people. And she just happened to be born in this bloodline that managed to arrest control of a tribe, you know, 1,000 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, and the same thing too. If you're born into poverty, like, there's certain things, like, you're just born, like, and that's
Born
where
into certain circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how it works. Like, you don't, like, I don't recall getting a choice as to, like, where I came down. So I mean, it's the same thing there. I'm not really sure what perpetuates the fascination.
Yeah.
But I think, like I said, it's just a matter of, like, it's just kind of old news and tradition, and, like, tradition has a lot of, like, dark undertones most of the time.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're never, because it's something like, it's the same thing as like, it's something that's not, if it's not on the table for discussion,
Mhm.
it's like, it's not, there is no restructuring of this in the foreseeable future because no one has like a good idea about how to restructure it. Maybe I'm not sure, but or to dissolve.
Well, we already have restructured it.
Well, yeah, but do you see what I mean though? It's like it's just kind of like a growth that's just hanging around.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you had brought it up. As America, again, Revolutionary War for independence, America rejected the rule of a king. So why, again, you brought it up. Why are we still obsessed with this monarchy? This, again, why does it matter? Why does it affect us in any way, shape, or form in this country at least?
Yeah, because you got to think, man. There probably were a few people that were just like, oh, this seems fun. We'll go to this. We'll go to America, but like not really like down with it all the way.
Possibly.
And never they never like shed the skin. Maybe they're just like, I don't know. Maybe that's like a strand thread in it. Speaking
of shedding skin, I mentioned this yesterday when we weren't planning on doing this as an episode, but everybody was kind of getting super into it, so I thought it would be great for us to go ahead and record this. But speaking of shedding skin, I point out that when we were doing research on the NWO conspiracy stuff, which we are not doing right now, there was this one guy that made a comment that really stuck with me, is that we may have officially gotten rid of the labels of monarchism. So king, queen, across the world, but it doesn't mean that monarchies have gone away.
Yeah.
They just changed names and titles.
Right.
Mhm.
So now instead of king, you have CEO.
Mhm.
Because corporations, even in a democratic society, are not run as a democracy.
Mhm.
They're not democratic at all. There's no voting involved in these companies.
Yeah.
So the companies are literally just, they make whatever rules they want. And they maintain their power and control as corporations, as monarchies, by using their lobbyists to pay off the politicians that we quote unquote vote in.
Yeah.
To pass legislature that's favorable for them to maintain their power and increase their power and wealth.
Right. And it's in the same way, it's a value system of power and control, and it's about resources and money. And it's, at the end of the day, to me, it's a belief system. And it's almost like you can only control me or have power over me if I believe you have something that I want. If I don't want it anymore, then you don't have fucking control over me. If I'm willing to, but the thing is, like,
I don't want it.
But it comes down to that thing, that very universal thing of, you almost, to make a stand on that, you almost have to be willing to lose your fucking life over it.
Yeah,
you do.
Well, you have to absolutely be willing to lose your life. And that brings me to the point. Okay, so we are all born inherently with a God-given right to freedom.
God-given.
However, we are also born into a society that is hierarchical. So there's a natural hierarchy to every aspect of our life, whether it's your friends, your circle of friends, your job, your country you live in, the form of government you live in. There are levels to everything. But again, breaking this down, how much freedom do we honestly have when you have these different kingdoms like Amazon and Microsoft and Tesla and Monsanto and Bayer and, the big pharmaceutical companies too? Like, how much power and control over our own lives do we actually have if all these people have free reign to advertise to us, to persuade us, to convince us, or to bypass us completely and go straight to the politicians?
How much freedom do we have?
How much freedom do we honestly have in this
Well,
country?
this country is not about freedom.
No, it's
it's
about that almighty dollar bill, y'all.
It's
I
about
was going to say, what does freedom mean to you? And most of the time, for most people, would say it's about money and the freedom that you would have with that money. You have to have the money first. And what is the number one determining factor of your net worth, like as a person, is your zip code, where you're born. It's your environment that you grew up in. So, with that being said, like, you know, our God-given right to freedom is, you know, it's not as obvious as we are, you know.
Well, the concept of freedom, you can debate on what you choose to do with that freedom determines how free you are.
Mm-hmm.
So how much of your freedom are you willing to give up for comfort? So again, and let's I don't want to completely go away from the monarchy conversation topic, but in regards to giving up your freedom for comfort, that goes into socialistic ideologies. Because if you're going to give up your own power of choice, you're relinquishing your freedom to choose for yourself. So the government chooses for you. And whether that's universal basic income, whether it's health care, whether it's your school, community college or college, doesn't matter. All your education, like if you give up your choice to choose, that's you're free to choose whatever you want, whether or not you can afford it, whether or not you're being taken advantage of by big corporations or not. You still have to actively make a choice to become less free and less autonomous.
Okay.
Regardless of where you're born, we don't all start at the same baseline. We all start with the same baseline freedom. And what you choose to do with that freedom and how you choose to protect it or cultivate it or relinquish it is completely up to you.
Right.
And our society we've been programmed to be okay with slowly relinquishing our freedom to other people since birth.
And I'm just playing advocate here because you said
Bring it on.
Because you said it's a choice, and
It's
if you're programmed,
yeah,
in the same way the computer's programmed. I mean, if you don't have an experiential knowing of being beyond your program, then you really, that's what we call being unconscious. People are walking around unconscious, zombified. Yeah, because it's not, and at that point, it's not really a choice anymore. Or you can't say that it's a choice necessarily. Yeah.
Well, if the choice is taken away from you,
yeah,
and you don't fight to regain that choice.
Yes.
Then again, that you're just becoming complacent,
right, with
the slow erosion of your freedom to choose.
Right. You have it. And you, even if you don't know that in your chest, yeah, you should just know that with your head at first that you do have it.
Well, this brings up why we do this podcast is more about, again, critical thinking exercises. Because again, I would love for everybody to have everything they need all the time. We shouldn't have to work, 50, 60, 70 hours a week to provide for our families.
No,
we shouldn't have to. Just like the CEOs shouldn't be able to, maybe go to a board meeting every couple of months and get $1 billion bonus at the end of the year because Amazon did so well.
We do,
based on your freedom of choice, we choose to allow this to continue to go on.
We have a similar admiration for
whether it's passive or active. Just to clarify,
we have a similar admiration for billionaires, for example, like Elon Musk, or some people like Jeff Bezos, whatever. We think that they deserve the situation that they're in. Not to say that they didn't come up with something unique and awesome. But now are they deserving of the the money that they're bringing in right now through the exploitation that they're
exploitation and manipulation?
Yes. So it's the same admiration that we have in this country. A lot of people have in this country as British people have with their queen.
Yeah.
It's very similar.
Well, yeah, that's an interesting take on it because it doesn't just end with the billionaires. America is basically responsible for the largest form of idolatry on the planet because we idolize celebrities, whether it's musicians, actors, millionaires, billionaires. I mean, the Kardashians, who may have some very nice altruistic and charitable things that they do, but I mean, they are essentially, they're not actors. They had their TV show, which was a reality show, which was obviously scripted, but still, like they just became famous because their dad represented O.J. Simpson.
Yeah.
Like there was no frame of reference. So they are basically like the Kardashians, you can argue, are the American royal family because we elevated them to that position just because their father. So they inherited their father's popularity.
Yeah, I mean, and they just got a new show, so it's still like that was what, like early 2000s, mid 2000s.
Oh, the Kardashians, the Keeping Up with the Kardashians, I think ended last year or the year before,
and then now they have,
and there's another one coming up now.
Yeah, so yeah, they're like the interest is the thing.
It's the intrigue.
That's the part of it that we have our finger on, or we have we have ultimate control over interest. I mean, everyone has control over the interest, like losing interest in a certain thing, and obviously the interest is still hanging around for some reason.
Yeah.
And so when you start to investigate that, you do start to see like, well, it does kind of follow that same format of, some really super wealthy family, and what are they exactly? It's like, we don't know, but they're so fabulous. It's like, and like, they're so well dressed, and like, it is like a idolatry. It's like, that's what people think of as a perfect life or whatever. It's like, oh wow, they're living, like they can just and you hear people all the time. It's like, say if we want to, say we're shooting this podcast here, but like, we look at Rogan or somebody and we say, well, it must be nice.
Must be nice.
And it's so like subtle, but it's like, it must be nice for what? It must be nice. Like we have each other's company. Like it's the same thing. It's just, it must be nice to have the means to do more of what you want.
Yeah.
Out here.
Yeah.
But like, that's where you touch that dimension of like interiority of like your experience. Like people in the concentration camps, it's been reported time and time again, like the last of the human freedoms is choosing your perspective about what's going on.
Yeah.
And that's something that no one talks to us that way.
No.
Especially because it just doesn't, it's not in the interest of making money.
No.
And it's just that fucking simple, I mean, and it like you said, it's not obvious to us, it's very natural for us to like just scan around and just like look at everything outside and like never have that like stomach knowing of like, oh wow, I'm alive. Like I really like talking to this person. Like this is like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
you see the fucking coffee commercials,
just sitting down and shooting the shit. I mean, me and you sat again right here. And we talked for like hours yesterday, not recording. We weren't recording a podcast. We were just having a genuine human interaction.
Yeah.
And I don't think enough people do that anymore because we're too focused on what everybody else is doing. It's too focused on Keeping Up with the Kardashians or Prince Harry and whoever the princess is.
All of that plus surviving.
Yeah.
Like just general survival.
Yes.
Yeah.
It clouds us,
Well, that's the way that these corporations, politicians, monarchies, that's the society that has been built up and designed in this way to keep us from asking questions, from thinking critically, so that you can take the state-run media, whether you agree with it or not. I mean, the majority of the media is censored or at least directed and guided by the state, even in America.
And by their investors.
But
and-
we are programmed and conditioned to just work to make sure we can take care of everything we need to take care of and take care of all of our bills, and that we're so tired and so distracted with keeping up with the Kardashians and when the next Stranger Things or when the next House of the Dragon's going to come out. That's what we look forward to in our lives. We don't look forward to living our lives. We look forward to escaping from the reality that is just working for the hierarchy.
There's a reason that, I mean, when was the last time you saw like a big news company cover, the
war in Yemen,
well, not
which the United States is funding.
well, like workers striking.
Mm.
When was the last time you saw? They won't cover that, because it's not in their best
Well,
interest.
they talked about it. They did this. And there's a couple of Amazon workers that were attempting to do that, and I heard a couple of stories about it, and they weren't like obscure stories, but Amazon again. He's not King Bezos anymore, because I think he's not CEO anymore. But well, let's just say for fun, because I like saying King Bezos. King Bezos crushed that rebellion, so they didn't unionize. They were striking because they wanted to unionize, and he crushed King Bezos, or King fuck of Amazon.
Yeah,
crushed that rebellion. So
Well, there are a few that have unionized across the country, but like overall, I just don't see like mainstream media covering workers fighting for just more autonomy.
no,
That's like not even wage raising, just autonomy, like healthier work-life balance.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see it won't be covered because it's not in the investors and everyone that goes into the funding the news media.
Yeah,
it's not in their best interest. Why would they want you to have hope that could be a thing?
there's no hope. It's the hope. The only
There's no hope.
no.
Rewind.
Well, they want the only thing you can have hope in is hope for change.
Mm-hmm.
So they build up these politicians to look like they can change something when they actually won't and don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Because this can't be reiterated enough. Politicians don't care about anything but their own position, their own power, and their own money, and how they're going to further their family. I mean, again, look at Joe Biden, look at Donald Trump. It's two sides of the same coin. They're both hypocrites. They're both narcissists. They're both all about their family. The fact that Hunter Biden isn't in jail, facing like at least 15 years for some of the crap that has been found on his laptop, which has been proven to be true, not a conspiracy theory. This was legit.
Yeah.
It wasn't fucking like the conspiracy theory was that it was Russian disinformation. But this is how you control a society. When you control the narrative, you control the fucking people's minds. And who has the most influence on these people? The corporations that are invested in people like Joe Biden. The corporations that are invested in people like Donald Trump. Now, not many people are invested in Donald Trump anymore because he isn't woke enough. And that's fine. Now, I will say, as in defense of the monarchical system that is corporations, some of them have caved, I think because of public opinion, because they thought it was a good idea at the time, caved to a very, very toned down form of democracy. Because when the cancel culture was I think it's cancel culture fortunately seems to start to be on decline, where people aren't so angry. Well, everybody's, yeah. Well, you have a very small group of people that are extremely vocal about an issue that they have a problem with. Eventually, the people that don't care either way are just going to be like, look, just shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
We don't want to hear, like, we have enough of our own problems to deal with. We don't want to hear you bitching about something that doesn't even involve you as a person.
Exactly.
But I say that some of these corporations have a touch of democracy in them because they caved. I know Google caved. I know Apple Podcast caved. I know that Amazon caved. Amazon as a company, not as the store, online store. They caved to pressure from Netflix. Netflix is a big example too. They caved to a lot of the woke ideology because you had all these programmers and all these human resource individuals that are running these companies, different departments. They are fresh out of college, fresh out of being indoctrinated with whatever ideology their professor had. I mean, they've been influenced for 4 years. They go and get a job at Amazon, Google, whatever, and they want to force their ideologies onto the corporation, or they're going to quit.
Yeah.
And instead of the corporation just going, fucking bye, no severance package,
They have no
fucking quit.
They have no fucking backbone.
No.
That's the thing. Like when you stand for money, you don't stand for shit.
But
you
here's-
stand for money.
yeah.
You'll come in any fucking package, any fucking form you need to.
But here's
They are literally they're just riding. They are on a surfboard made of money.
Yeah.
And they're riding the ocean. That is, however it's going. It's just
fucking
like
Scrooge McDuck fucking wave riding that money.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, like, and
I don't know if anybody y'all get that reference or not.
like there is no soul, there is no backbone, there is no principles.
Yeah.
In that,
Mm.
and it's you know, that's you know that's all you should expect.
Yeah.
You know, I mean that's
I'm just saying that these companies being the new monarchical system with the CEOs and them not being a democracy, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because whenever these corporations, I want to see them, like if I were running a company, I don't want, like if you were a fresh employee of mine for whatever reason, I hire you, you're working for me for 3 weeks, and then you're just like, hey, I don't think we should, you know what? If you continue to do this, I'm going to quit. And like, whatever that is, I'm not going to give an example because I have no real, I can't even think of an example right now.
right.
But if you don't change this practice, then I'm going to leave. Or if you don't stop selling this product, I'm going to have to leave. Like, because it's my company, I sympathize with like the monarchical aspect. It's like, well, I'm king shit of fuck mountain. This is my shit. Bye.
But
Bye.
to say more on that, say it's not just about me quitting. Say I've got millions of people that also think like me. They're going to stop buying, stop watching, stop whatever. This is something you need to pay attention to, Mr. Dude.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot more of us. So, you know, people and people are taking this specific thing pretty seriously. And if you want to stay relevant, stay making money, you open your fucking ear, you say, oh, okay, so this is what people, it's like, you're now my like window into, oh, so this is how the kids are thinking nowadays.
Yeah.
And then you just serve it up.
Serve it up. Fake virtue signaling.
Literally serve it up. And the whole thing of like I really like what you said. Like it makes a lot of sense. It is the way it is. You said most people that are like actually living their lives, they just say shut the fuck up.
Yeah, we don't,
because at some point you can't like, all right, if I'm a woke guy, all I have to do.
You're not?
Well, all I have to do is to say, okay, I'm me. And in this conversation that we're having, just a conversation, but in this conversation, I am the guardian of trans people. Or I am, and I'm going to police this conversation. And that's wokeism. But if you were to say
you're an ally,
whatever the fuck but if you say it, but if I'm the same person and I say, well, and people say, well, what have you done to help? And I say, what do you mean help? It's like, well, how would I actually have to help? I actually have to help this thing.
I have to physically do something.
I have to like leave my house, but I'm scared to leave my house. It's like you that's the only requirement, and that's why people are getting tired of it, because people are realizing slowly that like it's just it's like you're not actually, you're pretending you're someone you're not. I mean, it's like, because tale is old as time. You're fucking pretending to be someone you're not because it gives you something. You get something from that. You guys respect me because, you know, if you guys are also woke or subscribe to the woke shit, then you respect me more because I took a stand in this conversation. Yeah. Never realizing all the while that we're just talking. We're not actually, I'm not actually helping.
It's
Like, what am I doing to help?
self-aggrandizing.
Yeah, it's like another fucking thing. It's no different than being attached to your fucking big truck. Say, I'm a goddamn man. Never realizing all it's doing at the end of the day, it's not doing the shit that's on the commercial. You're just actually driving it from your house to the grocery store.
We still never did the Mr. Potato Head truck nuts. That's exactly where I went to when you said, I'm a man.
Goddamn
I'm a man. I got my Mr. Potato Head truck nuts.
Fucking man.
Well, I'm gonna say that as we've discussed this a little bit more, and I think this is why people should talk about some issues and instead of ignoring them a little bit more. I think as far as monarchies go and New Age monarchies in particular, as we've moved away from the Queen of England, and again, I think we all agree that it's why there's no fucking purpose for it, but in the new age of monarchies, which is corporatism, I think there are nuances to there's nuances to every situation, and you can't paint everything with broad strokes. Nuances? What? Are you saying that you can't be full woke all the time? No, I'm saying that there are some issues that we should all maybe take into consideration, but it doesn't mean that they need active censorship of opposing ideas. And as far as some of these corporations, yeah, maybe they should have a little bit more democratic input into the running of their company, but ultimately it should be left up to the people in charge of, like, at the top of the company that have been running a company maybe successfully for X amount of years. Now, the problem when you run into these kind of nuances is that people fucking forget that people are greedy. Like, we're greedy little assholes. That's what all of humanity are. We are wired to be greedy little assholes. That's survival instinct. So the more we have, not necessarily the less you have, but the more I have, the better my odds of furthering my bloodline or furthering blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And you got these CEOs are able to manipulate rules and regulations, and whether it's the EPA, whether it's, fucking the whole new climate change arguments. The people that are making those arguments have investments in green energy. Yeah. So they're going to make money, or they know people that have companies that they're going to help out, and then they're going to invest in that company. Yeah, so there are reasons for everything. Yeah, there are reasons behind everything, and if we don't see that, but also see that there can be nuances to and benefits to having, like, again, one person that runs the majority of shit, but also he has to answer to X. Yeah. In a corporate sense, not in a governmental sense.
Yeah. But like, for a corporation, like, say a brand that I enjoy their products. For me, I like
the Chaz Pussy flavored chips.
There you go. Chaz Pussy flavored chips, or like Liquid Death.
Liquid Death.
You know what? They have a fucking backbone, and they stand for something. And I can get behind that. I don't like all this, like, it's like that whole thing. Like, if you make something for everyone or the flavor of the day, you don't have anything. You're making it for no one.
Yeah.
So I see what you're saying. It should be left up to, like, some of these decisions should be left up to the charge, and they should be made off a set of fucking principles. But, it's almost like, even if your principle is just stacking your fucking money to the sky, even if that's your principle, it's very limiting. It's kind of a shit principle to have, but come on out with it. Yeah. Like, give it to me straight.
Yeah.
Give it to me straight.
I'll
probably still buy it.
Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. No, it doesn't.
That's where we're living now.
Yes.
We're living there now.
They're going to sugarcoat the shit out of everything.
Because everything's like, like, people are touched, their hearts are touched by things, and it's this, and it's like, it's fucking money, dude.
Hashtag me too.
It's fucking I've been money.
Touched.
Hold on.
Hashtag me too.
Show me on that guy where you were touched. Show me.
Show
Oh,
me.
I didn't
show
even
you.
realize he had a fucking mullet. Oh my god.
It was here.
In your butthole? Yeah. Who touched your butthole?
Chrissy.
Justin did say, "Show me your butthole."
I said, Chrissy.
Show me your-
Chrissy. Show me your booty hole.
Show me your
So,
booty hole.
we got, but yeah, look, man. I think American society's fascination with monarchies. It's just it's got to just be that it's programmed into us because of Disney.
That's easy too.
Disney. I mean,
it's easy to like. It's easy to pretend like that,
Mhm.
and it does give you something. It gives you a little like nighty night.
Mhm.
It's like, oh yeah, they're like
Oh, it's a sweet
yeah.
story.
yeah, they're yeah.
And so we romanticize it, but the truth, the hard truth behind it is that, again, the billions of dollars that's spent on, again, some of these new age modern monarchies, the corporations, but also the traditional monarchy that's still prevalent in the British Empire. If you would take just a fraction of that money that they spend on overindulgence and decadence and actually put it towards bettering your, not constituency, the serf population, your worker drone population.
The 95, 97% of the population.
Yeah.
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 You know,
I'm not talking about, complete socialistic redistribution of wealth, but
infrastructure,
No,
education,
again, it doesn't, it wouldn't take,
healthcare.
it wouldn't take the amount of money that we fucking funneled over to Ukraine to aid them in a war that we have no business being involved in, because again, they are literally the most corrupt nation on the planet. Like maybe there's some sub countries in Africa that might be a little worse.
Some subs.
Some sub countries, but like
Give us a sub from Africa.
But you're talking about there's always somebody bitching about we don't have enough money to fund this. We don't have enough money to fund this, and yet the same fucking politicians are going to go, well, I'm going to go ahead and vote to send $47 million to Ukraine in aid. But that money doesn't actually get to Ukraine because it just gets fucking funneled through these defense contractors that are fucking just reselling these old and dated fucking munitions that have already been produced, paying and then shipping them so they can charge the government for more.
Yeah. It's just like,
let's not talk about any of that. Let's not worry about that. Let's focus on the queen dying and let's parade her fucking corpse throughout the entire city. And let's have a fucking 3 fucking week run of just viewing her fucking rotting body. Let's do that. That sounds
awesome,
glorious.
Dude. Let's do that.
Let's pay our respects to this rotting husk.
Stinks.
I mean, she looked like she was fucking pretty ripe towards the end anyway.
Yeah. Show me your booty hole.
Oh.
That's the name of this episode.
Booty hole.
Yeah.
Royal booty hole.
Yeah.
Royal booty hole. I like royal booty hole. Yeah, because we have to put royal in there.
You gotta understand, we're children to these people. Like they are our parents.
I mean, I don't remember the book Everybody Poops, but
I do.
Royals are part of everybody. Royals poop too, and also happen to be full of shit.
Play that Lord song.
Can't because copyright infringement. Free and fair use. Yeah, we're not making a parody of it. So yeah, do you have anything else you want to add or rant about? I mean, again, I liked your little rant talking shit on American cuck.
Yeah, I said don't be a cuck. That's what I have to say. Don't be a cuck to CEOs, billionaires, royals, whatever it is. Don't infantasize it.
Just remember that we got away from monarchies for a reason. And yeah. The new age nobles are just as bad, man. And quit making stupid fucking people famous. Unless you're going to make us famous. I just want to be rich.
Do you?
Honestly, I don't want to be rich. I just want to have enough money to not fucking care anymore.
or be willing to die. You have that
I'm open.
right now. You could be as free as you want as long as you're willing to die.
I don't want to die. I'm having too much fun.
Why don't you want to die?
I'm having too much fun. I enjoy spending time with you and my wife.
But what if hypothetically?
I enjoy playing music.
Hypothetically, what if you die?
If I die,
what if your beliefs died right now, and then I'm here on the other side, like, hey man,
hey buddy,
and it's like you just woke up from a dream. You're like, oh fuck,
this is the podcast that never ends.
Yeah,
yes, it goes on. That's the afterlife. I mean, maybe. I mean, think of the guests we could have from the afterlife. There are a lot of people, dude.
Who would you want to bring on that's dead?
I mean, first I would want to bring Stephen Hawking, but only if he's still in his wheelchair.
Why first? Why him first?
Just because I want to know what his thoughts are on the afterlife.
What do you have? Like Yelp?
Give me a scientific explanation.
Give me a Yelp review.
Yeah. I need Stephen Hawking's Yelp review of the afterlife.
Yeah. What was it like?
What's it like? So 4 stars, 3 stars?
Yeah.
The service could be better.
Did you see that movie Sausage? Did you see that movie Sausage Party?
No.
You never watched that Seth Rogen movie?
No.
Stephen Hawking was in it, but he was a piece of chewed up bubble gum.
Oh,
in a wheelchair.
Oh, that's fucked up.
That's awful.
That's funny that he did it though. That's awesome. Good.
I don't think he did it. I think it was just a joke.
You sons of bitches. Seth Rogen's gotten a little too woke. He was. That's the. We need to laugh more. Everybody, you guys, listen to some more comedy podcasts in addition to this one. I mean, again, don't stop listening to this, but listen to some more comedy podcasts. Go back and rewatch some old movies, old comedies from like the 90s through the early 2000 teens, before the woke shit and the cancel culture really got prevalent, and just laugh more.
Yeah, man. Hey, look, I think
that's the problem. We need the society as a whole. We just need to stop taking shit so seriously and be willing to laugh at random shit.
Look, listen. Hey, listen to me, goddammit. Listen to me.
I can laugh and listen.
I know. I'm just saying. There's a whole slew of comedians now that are like have enough money.
Yeah.
That they don't have to like wait on a production company or wait on a fucking corporation to say, hey, you can make this movie. And there's a lot of movies fixing to get made in that same vein.
Yep.
For that reason, because they're like, hey, wait, they've now realized I don't actually need your approval to make this movie.
Thank God for technology.
And I'm just gonna make this fucking movie.
Thank God for budding videographers.
And they're making fucking bank on their shows. You know what I mean? Because I mean,
when you can film an entire movie in 4K, 10-bit or 12-bit on a camera that costs less than $10,000, that's awesome.
And people say the world ain't fucking changing. It's changing.
Oh, it is, but people
very slowly.
The media and the corporations, they are trying to convince us that it's not going to change in a way where we have more control. They want to keep pushing the globalization agenda.
And we just listen to it?
Well,
it's our favorite fucking song?
Unfortunately, there's a fairly large percentage of people that are just gonna keep eating that shit.
Well, I mean, like just anything. Like if you're under the impression that it demands your attention, then you're just gonna keep giving your attention to it. We should all be willing to die and feel pain. Punch me, Max. Punch me right now. All right.
Thank you guys for tuning in to Brain Snacks with Jaxon Max. This has been a random fun episode about royalty and the fact that we beat the brakes off of England to earn our independence, and maybe we shouldn't give so many fucks about the royal family. Because why? Why does it matter? I don't care. And they all look like shit anyway. They had to marry hot wives to have decent looking kids. Just saying. Oh, are you saying the bloodline spread to America?
They gotta retain the blood. What are you talking? No, over there.
No, over there, yeah. No, but I'm talking about like Prince Harry and the other idiot kid Prince, whatever. It doesn't matter.
I don't even know.
They're well, the youngest prince and his wife. Thankfully, I'm not Meghan.
Megan, that's her name.
Oh, thank you, wife. Oh God, I fucking can't. But no, they're acting fucking woke as shit now. So look, you're like the most entitled piece of shit on the planet. You don't get the right to be woke. Go fuck yourself. But yeah, thanks for tuning into the podcast.
Hey, fuck thyself.
Fuck thyself.
Go fuck thyself.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed it. Make sure that you're stay tuned. Every Thursday at noon, we are releasing a brand new episode. And whenever we release this one, I don't know, maybe a Monday, maybe a Tuesday, maybe a Friday. I don't know. But this is not going to be our normal Thursday episode. So you guys have a good day. Go to brainsnackspodcast.com, sign up for our newsletter, which I will promise at some point in the next year I will update and send massive news out.
Whatever.
Suck it.
Don't worry about it. Y'all have a damn good day.
But this has been Dustin. This is Jaxon. I'm Max. Don't be a dick. Don't be a cuck.
Show me your butthole.
Peace.
Did you subscribe?